Well, friends from the world, Maldini, as I promised you before we focus on the champions matches these days, tomorrow I'll be in Manchester to comment on that City Real Madrid. You already have a couple of videos about what this Sevilla-Barca match was like, and I want to make this video to explain and analyze in depth the incredible game that Pedri had. I told you in the post-match video in this Sevilla, wie in Barca 4, Pedri has been a true master. In fact, that's how I've titled it in the thumbnail, Master Pedri. Because the match he had was outrageous. The match he had was a marvel. Everything he generated, how he participated, everything he organized. And I want to include the Wyscout report in Pedri's match. You already have the post-match video, and you also have the video with the ratings. Because there's a lot to analyze about what he's doing. Pedri, in this match, what he's been doing in the last few games, in that position, it's true that Xavi Hernandez had tried him there before as well. He had played there, but he had a strong tendency to get closer to the area. Well, Pedri is playing in a double pivot, doing practically everything and doing it all well. And without a doubt, he's doing everything well. Let's analyze all of that and much more, because we're also going to take a little look. The scalpel on Raphinha, on Yamal, on some aspects of Barca's collective play, etc. All right, let's go. All right, let's go. Pedri's performance was absolutely amazing, and I want to start with him. I want to start with Pedri. I want to begin with this moment of form from one of the great midfielders in world football. Watch out for the national team, by the way, for the upcoming World Cup, which brings together Pedri, my guy, and all the talent they have around him, plus Rodri, who is going to recover. Keep an eye on Spain for the next World Cup with all the players the Spanish national team has. But, well, we're not going to talk about that. We'll have time to talk about the Spanish national team and many things, but not about Pedri. I want you to see, with the Wyscout report, there are many things that can be seen, but this is exactly the passing circulation of Barca. Now I've pulled up some screenshots so we can take a closer look at what Pedri did. But do you see how he really is the axis of everything? Pedri, Íñigo Martínez quite high up. Also Barca with a lot of combination, but practically the axis of everything. It is true that he tends to play slightly more on the left, which means he is closer to Valde than to Koundé. That's true. But in the end, it was Osvaldo Ardiles who was a midfielder that many of you will surely know. The older ones, those who I don't know if they are older, maybe not, called him everyone's partner. Because in the end, he ended up being the permanent axis of the match. Well, that's exactly what Pedri did yesterday. And now I'm going to show you more things, but let's go to some... I've prepared some screenshots for you of what Pedri did. So you can see, I mean, he did everything, ball movements that create danger. For example, this pass he makes, you'll remember right at the start of the match, to Raphinha, badly. That Raphinha shoots poorly and Milan saves it. But this pass is a true marvel. I mean, he plays with his head up and covers a lot of ground, playing in various different areas, both in the build-up of the play and at the base of the play. Like in the attacking third, this pass is magnificent for Lamine Yamal, and then it's a great save by Milan. But well, this is a classic position for Pedri. Here you have it. Here's Barca's lineup logically. It's Esni. Pedri, being the axis, is close to Frenkie de Jong. Raphinha moves closer, but this is the position. He really is a 10, an 8, a 5. He is everything at once. Pedri, that is the true reality of this player, as he is right now. He receives it. If you let him turn around, and if you let him face forward, you have nothing left to do. He immediately makes the inside pass. Here we have it. This play is perfectly timed with Raphinha, who arrives, who moves out of position, and with Gabi waiting. But if you let him turn, you're done. Are you ready? Look, the pass that he gave to Minya before badly on the other side of the field, now it is from the right side. Before it was from the left side, now it is from the right side. Pedri passes to Minya badly into space. He plays at the foot, plays into space, plays short, plays long, and then makes a few passes. This is the 1-2 pass that is anthological. It raises its head. Notice the number of players around and the little space. He has to make this perfect pass behind the last center back for Fermin to score. Well, that was Pedri. It was a true recital. When Barca was down to 10 men, at that moment, when Barca was with 10, Pedri said, give it to me, I'll hold the ball, and Pedri, he became the master and ruler of the match. That's exactly what Pedri did. That's exactly what Pedri did. He became the master and ruler of the match. Let's see some more things. of Pedri with the Wyscout report, this is exactly what he did. 82 actions, 65 successful. It's true that Barca loses the ball a bit more at one point in the second half, of course. 84% of passes. It's a lot for the area he was moving in. And look, in the second half, just 16 passes because Barca loses the ball when they go down to 10, but not a single one misses. He doesn't miss a single pass. In the second half, when Barca logically goes down to one player less, look at the actions on the field. Do you see the trend a bit? Go a little to the left. Here we have it, but also from the inside. In the second half, look at the number of actions in their own half because Barca needed to be more compact. They needed a Pedri to hold on to the ball. And then passes, medium passes, long passes, short passes, basically everything. Who did he distribute the passes to the most? With Valde and Íñigo Martínez, the two players who were, as I said, following Pedri's trend, are playing a bit closer to the left. So Valde and Íñigo Martínez. What's going on with this? A lot of players are moving to the left side. Many of the opponents are going to the left side. And that means that, for example, Lamine Yamal can have even more space. And it's something that's happening to Barca, of course. It's something that's happening to Barca. Well, once we've analyzed the crazy game that Pedri had, which was tremendous, I also want to talk about Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal didn't have her best game, but she did leave us with several sensational moments. Lamine Yamal, as always, does her thing. Details of a star, really. But notice that the actions weren't that many. You'll see it here. Better, there weren't that many. 54% completed, 1 shot on target out of 3, 65% passing accuracy, and probably less involvement. Less involvement than she usually has. Going through the middle, also a bit less involvement than she usually has. I want to talk about Frenkie de Jong. Because has Frenkie de Jong taken Casado's spot? I think he has taken Casado's place because Flick understands, first, that he has much more experience, which is logical. And second, Flick understands that when you are going to dominate the games, you are going to be able to... You need a player like Frenkie de Jong. Now, look, at the difference with Pedri, 56 actions. Pedri, many more actions. 95% of passes. Magnificent. But 56 actions. It seems to me that Frenkie de Jong doesn't improve Pedri, and it's Pedri who improves Frenkie de Jong. That's a little bit what I wanted to comment on, and the feeling I have that Frenkie, I think that Pedri feels even a bit more comfortable with him than with Casado. But if anyone improves Frenkie de Jong, it's Pedri and not the other way around. That's obvious. Look at Frenkie de Jong's actions. All of them are through the middle. Well, a good game by Frenkie de Jong, a game in which Barca took the initiative and played a lot. He practically did not lose a single action, very few, against an opponent who was quite withdrawn. Of course, it's Pedri who gets into the attacking third, not Frenkie de Jong. I mean, the difference is really big. Is it Pedri who gets into that position in the attacking third? Look, if we take a little look at what it is, here we're going to see it very clearly. In the midfield position, of the two, you can see that Pedri is a little bit ahead. I think he plays higher up still, but a little bit ahead, with a Barca that is quite compact in the midfield. And Sevilla, well, you see, they tried to push the defense up quite a bit, but Barca hurt them a lot. It's true that Barca, in Sevilla, this high defense from Barca, it also hurt them at times. It also hurt them quite a bit at times. In short, a very complete match from Barca. And of course, Robert Lewandowski is still on a roll. Let's also analyze the match that Robert Lewandowski had. Here we have him with Gabi and with Lamine Yamal. Because of course, Lewandowski's match, Lewandowski is growing and he doesn't need a constant involvement in the game. It's just the way it is. I mean, Lewandowski doesn't need constant involvement. In fact, look at Lewandowski's statistics. Only 20 actions, 12 successful, 1 shot on target. That was a goal. No dribbles, no crosses. 71% passing accuracy. He only made 7 passes, 5 successful. And look at the actions. Very few. But of course, in the end, they help him be decisive by scoring the first goal. At the level that Barca is at, look at the passes. Practically nothing with the ball. But at the level that Barca is at, which generates so much from behind, I think this Robert Lewandowski is currently exploiting all his abilities in an almost perfect way. Anyway, I wanted to show you all this about the match. Now we can send you some cold hard stats from the game. So, about this triumph of Barca, where we have 2 of the main characters of the season. I want to make a video one day. Let's see if I have time to do it. The thing is that we are not going to put Real Madrid in the city anymore. Talking about whether Barca is the team that plays the best in La Liga or even in European football. I want to make that video, which I need to plan out well because it's purely an opinion video. And I want to know yours, friends from Mundo, Maldini. Let's wrap up with some cold hard stats from the match, which I know you like me to share. But the difference for Barca was overwhelming. Look at the ball possession. Here we have the ball possession. Red line, Sevilla, blue line, light blue. Barca had the ball for more time. Even when Barca is down to 10 men, there's a stretch where they still don't lose possession. Then we move on to the final stretch, with the match practically decided. Pass accuracy always much higher for Barca than for Sevilla, practically all the time. In terms of the percentage of duels won, Barca was also practically always ahead. Notice that in the final stretch of duels, when they were down to 10, Barca, notice, the surgeon won duels. It's also true that Sevilla is attacking more and winning duels. They are usually more favorable to the teams that defend. That's also quite evident. And then the intensity of the pressing, which I always mention and I think is very important, and that is emphasized a lot. Flick. Well, here you have it. Barca, a high press. The whole match, very good, very good. Very low. The number of passes that Sevilla made in defensive action. And look, Sevilla's first 30 minutes were grim. The team very far back, trying to counterattack, then the team goes a little higher. But with this difference, they practically had nothing to do. As a matter of fact, in the end, they practically had nothing to do. So in the end, Barca, let's look at one last statistic that I think also proves all of this, right? 10 shots from Barca, 6 on target. It's true that they had a lot of attacks. Barca, here we have 44 offensive actions from Barca compared to 32 from Sevilla. And what can't happen, and what happened to Sevilla yesterday, is that Barca is allowed so many long possessions. I think that you have to be a little more aggressive against Barca. You need to press a bit more, or at least push up a bit more to press, because 11 possessions lasted more than 45 seconds. In the end, Barca is going to find you. They're going to find the gap. Like, for example, Raphinha found with that spectacular goal he scored, which is exactly what I'm talking about. In the end, if you have a team that's very compact, but you let them make inside passes close to the area, they're going to find it because they're really good. Because the players from Barca are really good. Anyway, I wanted to share all of this with you, and we continue with many videos for you. A hug, bye.